Hello friend, how are you today? I hope you're well. And today I'm going to look at the IELTS topic of holidays and travel. So firstly, let's have a look at some vocabulary. So we have accommodation. So accommodation is a room or building in which you stay during holidays or live. So this could be a flat, it could be a hotel, more modernly could also be an Airbnb. You have all-inclusive. So all-inclusive is a hotel deal where the price includes the accommodation, the meals, and the drinks. And importantly, this is available at any time. So we also have half board. So half board would be breakfast and dinner. That would be included in the hotel price. We have full board. So full board is your three meals. So you have your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner included in the price of your accommodation. We have self-catering. So self-catering is when you have a holiday and no meals are provided. So what do you prefer? Each has its advantages and disadvantages. If you are feeling rather lazy or you'd want to be pampered, then you can go for an all-inclusive. If you want to have the flexibility of being able to cook for yourself when you want to, then go for self-catering. I personally think self-catering is wonderful because it allows me to go into the supermarket, I can browse the different aisles, and I can choose what I fancy eating. A breathtaking view. A breathtaking view is an amazing view. A lot of hotels, they would include this in the description. So they would say you can have a room with breathtaking views, and usually this bumps up the price a little bit. An interesting one is a busman's holiday. Now, I don't use this, but I've seen it used occasionally. So a busman's holiday is when you have a holiday that's similar to your day job. An example of this could be a surfer, an example of this could be a lifeguard that goes to the beach for a holiday. Or it could be a bus driver that goes on a long drive somewhere for his holiday. So it's very similar to the kind of work that you do. Getting away from it all. This means to get away from your everyday life and your usual routine. To go off the beaten track. This is a very popular phrase. It means to stay away from the usual tourist spots. So if we think about the word beaten, here imagine a long path with lots of footsteps. The more footsteps that you have, it will start to make a dent in the road. So to go off the beaten path, you can see this particular path or road has many footsteps on it, which implies that it's very popular. So if it's very popular, then maybe you would want to go and see what the attraction is. But then if you go off the beaten track, usually you can experience more of the real city. Hordes of tourists. Hordes means a lot. So when you see hordes of tourists, there are so many people, it's so busy. Some people would like this. Conversely, other people may not like this and want to have somewhere more peaceful and tranquil, and so would avoid hordes of tourists. A picturesque village. Picturesque is another word for beautiful. It often is related to scenery. For example, the scene is absolutely picturesque. The mountains are perfect, so is the ocean and the sky. It's absolutely picturesque. It's like a picture. It's like a painting. It's so perfect. Tourist trap is a place where there are many tourists. So if you think of the word trap, if you think about a mouse trap, for example, you can't escape. So a tourist trap is where you can have certain historical landmarks, and there are so many tourists there. It could even be something which someone has created to attract tourists. You'll often see pop-up events or artists on the street, and if there were no tourists, I doubt they would be there. So they are there to attract the tourists. Now this can be a good thing because it increases the economy, it increases more money flowing into that city, into the country, which can be a good thing. However, you may want to avoid the tourist trap if you want to have more of an authentic experience. Maybe you want to enjoy the culture, so you want to go off the beaten track and avoid a tourist trap and experience more of what the city is really like. Now that we've looked at some important vocabulary, let's look at a quick look at the structure of the IELTS exam. So you have three parts. The first part is just an introduction. It's a warm-up. So the examiner will be asking you a series of questions. They may feel like quick-fire questions because they'll come at you very quickly, and you will give short answers. So think of this as a warm-up. Try not to get too stressed. Just relax and try to respond naturally and clearly to the examiner. A question you could have is, do you like traveling? Yes, absolutely. Seeing the world is, in my opinion, the greatest joy of life. I like the variety of visiting bustling cities or exploring places full of nature. Traveling is a fascinating way to discover new locations and learn about other cultures. So you can see in the answer, I keep it quite short. Don't worry if the examiner stops you at any point. It's quite natural. Don't think that you've done anything wrong. It's just that he or she has a certain number of questions that they have to get through. Another question is, what is your favorite type of holiday? I enjoy getting away from it all and then going on nature holidays. The wilderness is my favorite place to unwind. I frequently stray from the beaten path because I'm tired of tourist traps. What do you do on holidays? I like to go to different museums and interesting locations. For example, I visited the Louvre in Paris during my most recent holiday. It was excellent. Occasionally I go shopping with my family, however, I don't find it as fulfilling. Are there many tourists visiting your country? Yes, definitely. My country has many different tourist attractions. For example, there are an abundance of museums and music festivals. There is a mix of history and new events that attract young and old. When you move on to part 2, you'll be given a cue card which will have some prompts on it. Now, I highly suggest writing some notes. Think of your 5 W's, so your who, what, when, where, and why. And try to touch on some of these aspects. If you can't provide answers for every why, don't worry too much. It's more about having fluency and some coherence, so your ideas should naturally flow from one aspect to the next. So you could have a question like, describe a tourist attraction you once visited. You should say when you visited it, where it is situated, who you went with, and say what about it you liked the most. A few years ago, I went to Edinburgh in Scotland, which is towards the north of the UK. I went with my parents-in-law for a quick getaway. I chose Edinburgh because I had never been there before and it looked beautiful in photographs. Edinburgh had a festival, so there were hordes of tourists. Although it was busy, I really enjoyed the ambience. Fortunately, the weather was excellent, so we went on a walking tour of Edinburgh Castle. The views were breathtaking, and I thoroughly enjoyed taking in all the historical information. Edinburgh is a stunning city, and a visit is highly advised. Moving on to part 3. So part 3 is a bit more in-depth, so your answers should be a bit more detailed than the other parts. Why do you think tourism is so developed now? That's an interesting question, and there could be many factors involved. Firstly, with the advent of budget airlines, buying cheap tickets is easily accessible. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg on hotels either, as Airbnb has a plethora of options. Secondly, you can plan your perfect itinerary from the comfort of your home using the internet. This allows you to tailor the perfect holiday suited to you. How do people choose their destination? Well, there are a variety of ways. For example, you can browse the internet for special deals, or you can visit a traditional brick-and-mortar travel agency to get more advice. It also depends on the type of holiday you are looking for. If you want a fly and flop holiday, then sun and sand is what you are looking for. Conversely, if you want to experience architecture and culture, then you could look at visiting historical cities. I really hope you found this video helpful. I highly advise watching my other video about holidays and travel. This is because it serves to supplement these questions. It's always nice to have a well-rounded view of this topic. This way, you're not having to memorize the questions and the answers. You're really understanding the topic. So you have almost like a mind map where you have different categories. So depending on the question, you can just cherry pick the certain answer that you want. Comment below and let me know, what was your favorite holiday that you've ever been on, and where would you want to go next? Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It's free to do so, and it really helps to make this channel grow. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.